Okay, today we are starting with Unit 4, Lesson 1 about Mother Teresa. There is great difference between other classes and this class because I value much because the service rendered by Mother Teresa is not a small one. I read in the book and referred some other materials which gave a wonderful account of Mother Teresa. You look at our introduction, author introduction. This particular lesson is written by F.G. Herod, who was born in 1906. It means even he was 4 years senior to Mother Teresa. And his famous works are What Men Believe, Life of Christ, World Religions, and Who Cares, Christianity and Modern Problems, and some other important topics. Mother Teresa is an ever-memorable personality for her pure service to the society and needy. This lesson describes about her birth, her determination to serve. The very name Mother Teresa is a name she got changed for service, and her missionaries and the services done throughout the globe and the honors given by many governments. We will see Mother Teresa. She was born on 1910 and lived up to 1997. Was born in Skopje of Macedonia, which is in Yugoslavia. Skopje of Macedonia, which is in Yugoslavia. We found when she was at 12 years old itself, she had a great desire to serve the community, very kind-hearted, and so she was telling that to her brother who was working in army and a sister and the family. Of course, they encouraged her. When she was 18, and she joined this mission, Sisters of Loreto, which had a mission in India, and she was given proper training. She was given proper training to serve, and you see, proper training to serve, and after getting the training, and she spoke with some people who served already in India. You look at this map, that place which is mentioned in the lesson, Skopje is in Yugoslavia, that is in Macedonia. And she talked with some people. She inquired about India, and she got a great burden to serve in India, and she came to India. When she came here for the first time, you see, our lesson tells she was appointed as a geography teacher. She was appointed as a geography teacher in St. Mary's High School in Calcutta. You see, she was given a great training in Loreto Abbey in Dublin. She was given an excellent training in Loreto Abbey in Dublin. After that, she was sent to Calcutta, and her name, the actual name, what was given to her already, that Agnes, and she changed it already a sister. From her home, she came there and served in Calcutta, and she got tuberculosis and died. So she thought she must continue that work. So she changed her name and put her name in with her name and called her name as Teresa. And she was not Indian by birth, but of course she got birthright. She became an Indian. She became an Indian. She learned Hindi, and she was working here. And she was working in India. She was working in that school, and that was a beautiful school we see in the text. That was a beautiful school we see in the text, and even there are some references given. You see, she decided on a religious life, joined in the Sisters of Loreto when she was 18, and takes first religious vows when she was 21, and joins Irish Order of Sisters of Loreto, and she changes her name as Teresa, Mother Teresa, and after that, she taking final vows, she came to Calcutta, and when she was at Calcutta, she was in that Mary School. She was in that Mary School, and you see that just beyond that school, just after that school's compound, there were slums. There were poor people, and they were very helpless people. And she very often she was taking the students to the slums and was showing them, and she used to tell them, we must do something for these people. She used to tell, we must do something to these people. And even her teaching career as a geography teacher, she was doing excellently. Some 17 years she was serving as a teacher. She had a great burden to serve the poor. She had a great burden to serve the poor. She wanted the poor to be served. And you see, India is filled with poor people. The total world is filled with poor people. The helps you are extending is very small. How will it reach the people? Can you wipe away the poverty? And people were inquiring her. And she said in many times, it may be a drop in the ocean. It may be only a drop in the ocean. But if that was not in the ocean, will the ocean be less because of that missing drop? So her great service is to be honored, and we must recognize, as I told you while starting, there is great difference between other lessons and this lesson. Here you see, I shall not leave this hospital until I know that you have given her a bed. So even now we see government hospitals are filled with poor people, and in some poorest of the poor are there in hospitals. Now her name is known to millions throughout the world. Throughout the world, millions know it. Many a times you look at the cursor on the screen, see her picked up this wretched creature, half eaten by rats and ants, and carried her to the nearest hospital. Some were thrown on the street, eaten by the rats, half eaten, dying person. No one will care them, and she will take them to her hospital. She will take them, and she will help them. So such a wonderful service she was doing with. And you see, so many of them live and die on its pavements. They live on platforms. They live on platforms. Even today, there are homeless, millions of homeless people in our country. They suffer in appalling heat of the day, chillness of the night, hunger, loneliness, no respect, nobody to care them, so many such things. So on that case, after that some disease attacks them, means that is all. And you see, in this era, it is very important. Rudyard Kipling called the city of Calcutta as the city of dreadful night. The city of dreadful night. Jawaharlal Nehru called it a nightmare city. A nightmare city. Over the years, you see, there came refugees from the neighboring countries like Bangladesh, Pakistan. They came because of famine, because of flood, because of these plagues like corona and earlier some other plagues were there. They came, they all came. You see, in 1947, India was given freedom. Before that, when India was ruled by British, India and Pakistan were one country. India and Pakistan were one country, and British did a trick by separating, partitioning the two countries into two, and they gave the Pakistan first to the freedom on August 14th, and treated that as a Muslim country and the remaining part as India and for Hindus. What happened during that partition? Many Muslims who lived in India, they migrated to Pakistan because thinking that is a Muslim country. And Hindus who lived in that part, they were migrating into India. So such refugees or filled in the refugees, they moved to Calcutta and they lived there. So they had no houses, no proper houses, no proper respect, nothing. So they lived. You see, she was born in 1910 with more pleasant surroundings. History says her father was a politician, not an ordinary girl. She was a daughter of a politician. And she became the geography mistress and later on principal. Then she resigned her post and she was pleading the mission for 2 years to relieve her from the post. After that, she started. You see, the line I underlined, something must be done about this. She was continuously the point which was pricking her mind that she must do something to the poor, she must do something to the needy people, she must do something to the people in the slum, she must do something to the sick people, so she must do something to the abandoned widows. And in this lesson itself, there is a point given. There were women who were raped by Pakistani soldiers in Bangladesh, and they were also living in Calcutta city without any hope, helplessly. And she started a home for them and was serving them. After resigning the teaching post, you see in this line, she went to American Medical Missionary Sisters in Patna and took training to study the nursing course to help in medical fields. He took a nursing field. And you see the third line, while she was starting that mission, she had only 5 rupees in her hand. She had only 5 rupees in her hand. And then with that 5 rupee, she arrived to Calcutta. There was no home. Straight away she is going to the slum, and someone was there to permit her to live in a room with them. So she stayed with them and started the work. And you see, she is not a beggar, but she begged food for the starving people. She begged food for the hungry people. So, such a wonderful service. And in the first day in that school with that 5 children she started, first day there were no slate, paper or pencil, and so they were writing. They were writing on soil, they were writing on the mud. You see, second line says they were writing on the mud. They were writing on the mud. They were writing on the mud, and that's how that school started. Next day itself, someone sponsored, someone gave a table and a chair, and they used it. And next day, one cupboard, then a blackboard, and many people. began to help. Then thinking of the poor children in the slums. And you see, she recruited first person from her old student. From her old student, one student she joins, and one by one, 10 of her former students joins her and help her because they know the service rendered by her is real and an excellent service. So she started and named it. After starting that, she named it Missionaries of Charity. She named it Missionaries of Charity. Those who joined it had to give up their lives completely to work. That was a martyr. That was the principle she put for them. And she said, we don't want voluntary workers. It means voluntary workers, they will come only when they are free. So it doesn't mean she is ill-treating volunteers, but she told we want people who would come and work full-time basis. And when she was asked whether she would take a holiday, she said every day is a holiday and every day is a working day. And you see, she asked them to take 3 vows for the people who joined her. One is poverty. That means one has to live a simple life who joins the mission. Number 2 is chastity. Chastity. What is chastity? They should forsake all sexual relationships. If a nun joins that mission, they don't want to think of the physical pleasures, what they natural pleasures. They have to forsake and should think only the service. And then obedience. And she is added a 4th point, to give wholehearted free survival to the poorest of the poor. And she said whenever she is serving, she was thinking and she is serving the poor. She is serving Christ. Complete poverty is demanded. Complete poverty. So she lived a simple life. Unless we are poor, she said, unless we are poor, we cannot understand and serve the poor. And you see, a sister, a nun who joins them must give up all their possessions and all their properties. Of course, they are not compelled, but they ought to do. And you see, Desmond Doig, he also wrote a book on her. The new people who joins, they will also come and get trained there. And of course, prayers are conducted on regular basis in their home. And they rest a while. They have their regular classes. And you see, and they read their regular Bible reading and scriptures. You see, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. They wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. This line says, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning until 6:30. They will be, you see, pray until 6:30 and then have their first meal and doing the cleaning and washing work. After that, they start the work. And you see here it is written some 12:30. 12:30 they will come back and 1.5 hours lunchtime. After that again they will go at 2 o'clock. Then again up to 7:30 they will be working. So again they will conduct prayers and will do. This is a routine work in that mission and they were doing. And in that when someone was interviewing, asking Mother Teresa, she said, in this line you see, being unwanted is the worst disease that any human being can ever suffer, she says. Being unwanted. உங்களை வேண்டான்னு எல்லாருமே ஒதுக்கிட்டு ஒரு ரோட்டோரமாக கிடக்கிற ஒரு பர்சன், being unwanted person, that is the worst disease. Claimed by nobody. Claimed by nobody, unwanted person. And see, such people were given care by Mother Teresa. Such people were cared by Mother Teresa and she had a loving face. And you see in this line it is said, her great desire was to take those who were dying into a home to be loved and cared for, that they might die with dignity. They are cast down on the road. There is no one to care, and she wanted them to care and take them. And of course, they are going to die. Let them die with some dignity. And government came forward to help her. You see, why Mother Teresa is concerned quite as much those who cannot be cured as for those who can. You see, the leprosy, you see, and as far as leprosy is concerned, you see, have you seen a leper? Have you seen a leper? If you see a leper, his hands will be like this. His hands will be like this. If he wants to pick up a coin, he do like this. He turns his hand like this and takes the coin like this. If there is a bee or a fly on the face or somewhere, he drives it like this. This is all. He cannot pick up anything of them. There's somewhat of dripping of blood there and wounds there. No one likes. Even Bible says when a leper comes on the road, they have to shout that I'm a leper who is coming with this defile, and when they are shouting and people will run away and they cannot come, that is the condition. You see, even while eating, they have to take like this and eat. It's not easy. If the leper comes and give handshake, who will give? Surely we will not be ready to do that. So such a person in dejected condition, such people she was carrying with. And you see this line, first line in this para is very important. They occupied an empty hall near goddess Kali's temple, and many were out to care the lepers. And one young man went and complained to a police commissioner, stating, if she is converting Hindus into Christianity, you drive her away. That police commissioner was visiting her. When he came, the commissioner came, there was a dying man and with wounds in his body, sore, and he was cleaning him. That was strange, thinking like anything. But without any hesitation, he was cleaning and nursing him. The commissioner had seen that and he returned. Didn't want to talk anything to her and came back and asked that young man, I will push that lady out, but you have to do one thing. You make your sisters, mothers to do the service what she is doing, then I will drive her. And he felt shame and left. So many a times you see in this one next passage, there came a crowd of people. One man was dying of cholera. In those days, the cholera was an epidemic, and people were dying of cholera. If someone gets cholera, that is all. That family, that village, even that city will be empty in few days. Like we live in pandemic period, no, the same situation. And they came, the crowd of people came there and just throw him in front of the home. That home of Mother Teresa, they were shouting, and she came out with a smiling face, and she took her in her arms, and that was all. They all left, and he was a priest in that Kali temple, and he got cured. And when he was taken care in the temple, some people spoke with him and asked him, hey, you are a Hindu man and you are a priest in the Kali temple. You went there and took service from that mother. What is that? How you feel? And they asked. He said, I see Kali in her. I see Kali in her. Don't disturb me. I don't see religion. I see Kali in her. And such a person was Mother Teresa. Of course, critics, many criticisms came, many oppositions came, many people insulted, and she took unwanted children and babes. You know, Calcutta is a city. Even now, there are superstitious beliefs. In those days, they used to cast their children in river Ganges. superstitious beliefs, thinking that their family would be blessed if they do, if they sacrifice a child, but throwing out a child inside the Ganges, and they would be blessed with Kali. And if such kind of superstitious beliefs such children were, and they were taken and cared by Mother Teresa. And you see, uh, there were, she was against abortion. She was against abortion, and many people criticized her. Why you are doing all this? This is none of your business. And of course, she do. She was carrying lepers, and lepers may be wealthy lepers, poor lepers, high caste, low caste. Everybody was cared by her, and she will take away any leper and will help them. And when Pope met her, he gave a wonderful car. She didn't use that car. She didn't even sit and give a ride. Simply she sold it for 37,000, and she invested that amount for the service. And as I told you, the Bangladeshi women who were raped by Pakistani soldiers were cared by her, and critics were criticizing her, and she didn't mind about criticisms, and she spent all the money to the service. She never got, this line says, she never got any amount for the service rendered. Till now that service is going. 61 centers in India and 28 centers in other countries. When she's died, they said they reached till 600 and above, 600 and above campaigns in various countries and 123 countries. When she said, I was a PG student, you see, leaders from many countries, they came. And the children who were thrown out in the river, who were cared, many of them were from high caste, and they were taken care, and he was given Nobel Prize. You see, he was given, I have only very few minutes, I'll show you this. You see, it's one of the daily working routine, and see, look at the photo, how she is serving, and she dedicated the saint of the gutters. He was serving the people who were in gutters, and Indian slums, even poorer than this picture. And Diana met her once, Pope John Paul, and many other leaders from different. She was given Nobel Prize in 1979, and she gave a speech there. And you see, I want to show you how many awards she got. These are all some pictures in her funeral. You see, she was not a political leader, but national flag was put on her, and she was buried with respect. India, Sonia Gandhi was there. Many, of course, many leaders from various countries, they joined, and they did with respect. Awards, Padma Shri Award in 1962, 1971, Pope John Paul's Award, 75, International Prize, and 76, Passion in Ferris Award, 78, Balson Award, 79, Nobel Prize, and 83, Order of Merit, 85, Medal of Freedom, 94, Golden Honor of the Nation by Albania, her nation, and 96, Honorary Citizenship of USA, 98, Pope John Paul begins the process to make her a saint. This was done in 98, Punidar, it means saint means Punidar Bottom. Because after her death, one lady who got cancer, she wore Mother Teresa's picture as a dollar on her neck and was praying to her, and she got healed. So she revealed it. I got healed. I worried her. So that religion, the Catholic religion, recognized it, and they gave saint, the title saint to her. And another woman who from Brazil, from as a family, they got affected with a brain disease. They were also, they said, we were praying to Mother Teresa and we thought of her, and we worshipped through her and utilizing her name, and we got healed of the brain disease. and then the Pope John Paul and the Catholic religion gave her title saint. So now she can be called Saint Mother Teresa. So you see, this is not an ordinary lesson or topic like others. You may sit and read again and again if time permits. Even